without further ado, we all know why we're here. We're here because cash flow in the construction industry can be painfully slow. But there are steps that you can take to help speed things up. And that's exactly what we're going to get into today. So if you've joined this webinar, then I'm guessing that you've dealt with some slow or even non-paying customers. The industry definitely hasn't made it easy to get paid, at least not for your work. But we're here to change that. Before moving forward, a couple of things. First, again, happy Veterans Day. Grateful to our service women and men for your service. Thank you. Second, just want to say that we are recording this as a live session, and you'll receive a link to the recording tomorrow if you'd like to watch it again or share with your team, your friends, or family. If you have any questions during the presentation, go ahead, enter them in the Q&A box on the right corner of your screen, and we'll get to those questions at the end. So my name is John Burns, and I'm a construction payment expert here at LevelSet. I work to help businesses like yours get paid fast and without payment problems. I love what I do because I empower businesses like yours to get paid for what they earn so they can focus on important things like growing the business without worrying about when money will come. In case this is your first interaction with LevelSet, I'll give you a brief overview of who we are and what we do. Basically, LevelSet exists to help subcontractors and suppliers protect their lien rights and collect payment. We all know that the construction industry presents all sorts of challenges when it comes to getting paid. And to solve those challenges, we have all kinds of resources, from profiles outlining contractors' payment histories to educational guides, and of course, our cloud-based software, which I'll show you today. We also have a full toolbox of construction payment solutions that range from financing for your job and financing your job materials to construction legal services and so much more. And I'll share more details about that, our full product suite towards the end. Now, for today's agenda, we'll first talk about why businesses in the construction industry experience more slow pay than any other industry. Then I'm going to break down the 5 steps that you can take to make getting paid the easiest part of your job. Get your payments prioritized and you paid a lot faster. Last but not least, of course, I'll show you the specific tools that you can start using today to actually start getting paid faster ASAP. And at the end, we'll have about 10 minutes for questions. So before we dive in, just wanted to let you know and remind you, please don't be shy. If you have a question, throw it in the Q&A box. We're going to spend some time at the end going over everything. So honestly, even if you are the best contractor in your area with the highest quality services, you can still deal with slow payments. Let's talk a little bit about why that is. What is the deal with construction payments? Why is getting paid such an issue in the construction industry? It takes longer to get paid in construction than it does in any other industry. Like I said, when a lot of parties are on a job, cash can move slowly down the payment chain. And in 2018, the average time to get paid for construction work was, get this, 83 days. And since COVID, it's taking even longer. First of all, a company has to complete time and information intensive payment applications just to get in line for payment. And while you're waiting for those payments, you have to somehow find the cash needed to float all the upfront costs required to get a job just off the ground. And when those payments finally do come in, chances are it's going to be at razor thin margins. On top of all of this, the complicated payment structure, high failure rates throughout the payment chain, hidden parties, and the risk of liens and double payment, and confusing and complex contractual clauses make efficient payment nearly impossible. And the complex nature of construction payment and the regulations within it have made it difficult to just streamline payment. But trust me, there is hope. So let's get into the reason why you're watching this webinar. Let's talk about how to make getting paid the easiest part of your job. There are 5 steps that you can take to start having your payments prioritized on every job. Now, 5 might sound like a lot or a little, depending on where you stand, but I'm going to boil down everything and show you helpful tips and tools so everything is easier to understand and ultimately even easier to apply to your business. So first things first, establishing a payment process for your business that you can stick to for each and every job, both big and small. This makes everything related to payments extremely clear for your customers by telling them exactly what you will do and when you will do it to collect payment. Set the expectations up front and leave little to no room for surprises down the road. And your payment process should never be up for debate or discussion. It's a policy, which means that you follow the same procedure every time, regardless of who's on the other side. So, for example, you can have a process where 15 days after payment is overdue, you send a notice of intent to lien. And then you file a mechanics lien, assuming your lien rights are protected, on anything that's past due before the filing deadline. Now, we'll get into a little bit more about lien rights later on, but another important thing that you'll want to do to increase your chances of fast payment is to review the payment practices of your customers before you start working with them. This is also called pre-qualifying customers, and it's especially great for commercial projects. We actually have a free tool called Payment Profiles, where you can search for a GC or a sub and see details about their payment history, such as how they've paid their subs in the past and reviews from people who've actually worked with them. This is a completely free tool that you can access on the LevelSet website at any time. Now, you can also request our construction payment risk reports to get a detailed understanding of the company's credit and payment reliability. And unlike other credit reports, this is actually a report that is built specifically for the construction industry. We give you insights into past payment disputes and the payment health of a company's jobs. So if you're interested in a report on a specific company, you can reach out to us at any time. And when you're a small business trying to grow into a large business and work with new contractors, running these checks on companies is super important and can save you both a ton of time and pain down the road. Now, an important step in making payments easy is making sure you have all of the right information about the job before it starts. Seeing a pattern here, right? Collect this information and fill out the job information sheet to help you when it comes time to collect. And these are details you'll use in your notices and other payment documents, which we'll get into in the next step. There are a lot of different ways to go about getting these details, but most of them come at the cost of time and accuracy. And at LevelSet, our Scout research team can help you out by verifying the accuracy of any customer information you have. Or we can find the information if you aren't able to locate it in the first place. We'll then upload the confirmed job information to your payment paperwork. And before I go into the next step, just a reminder, keep the questions coming. I see some good ones. I'm very excited to answer them. Please keep them coming. So in some states, preliminary notices, you might also know them as a NTO or prelim or pre-lien or just notices, are required on jobs to protect your rights. In other states, sending prelims aren't required. What we're suggesting in this step is to actually send a preliminary notice on all of your jobs, whether or not it's required. Now, before you start yelling at me in the comments, please just let me explain. Sending notices is an industry standard for professional contractors. It puts customers, well, not just customers, it puts good customers at ease to receive them. And if you work in a state where notices aren't required to secure your lien rights, it's still a best practice to send it anyways. Think of it as like low cost insurance. These notices protect your right to file a lien if you aren't paid. And this makes it easier for your customer to pay you because they open up visibility on your projects, show your role on the job and what was provided. And those who send notices have their payments prioritized over those who don't because one, it's easier to pay you, and two, they know you have the right to file a lien. And you can send your first notices. You can send your first notice for free through LevelSet. Try it. But last but not least, sending lien waivers, so fun, can often help ensure that your payments are prioritized. Depending on where you are, you might call them lien releases, but either way, think of them as a receipt that acknowledges that you've been paid. These do give up your lien rights though, so you really only want to send them after receipt of payment, and be wary of anybody that's asking you to sign one before receiving payment. There are two main types of lien waivers. There's conditional and unconditional waivers. Each can be used for either partial payments or final payments. And sending waivers help construction businesses get paid on time because they provide the property owner with assurance that you're not going to file the claim against their property. Now, you can easily get paid through LevelSet by sending a lien waiver. So those are the steps that you can take to make the payment process much, much easier. However, I realize that some of those things might sound like extra work, but if you have the right tools in place, it's not much extra work at all. This is actually where LevelSet comes in handy. We're here to help simplify all of those steps that we just talked about, all of them. Let me put it to you this way. You don't cut corners with the quality of your work. LevelSet doesn't cut corners with the quality of your paperwork. So here are a few ways that LevelSet helps make getting paid the easiest part of your job. First and foremost, we'll streamline your payment process paperwork. And with LevelSet, all you have to do is enter your active job information that you'd like to protect, and we'll let you know what notices to send and where to send them. You'll get notifications when deadlines are coming up so that you don't lose track and miss your lien rights. We can also automate this process if you want to send notices on every job, which we always recommend. And you can simply click to approve notices and have them sent automatically, which saves a ton of time. Now, next is our Scout Research. And I talked a little bit about this previously, but basically, Scout gives you access to the most comprehensive data in the construction industry. Now, we make sure that you have the right property owner, general contractor, or job site information that you need to keep your notices and waivers completely accurate. And we provide different levels of research based on your actual needs. When we'll be actually hosting a webinar that talks more in depth about how Scout works next month. So stay tuned. Now, this next bit is a feature of LevelSet that I really do love talking about. It's brand new. In a nutshell, imagine getting alerted whenever someone filed a lien on a job that you are working on, or if the subs are on the job and sending notices of intent to lien. Job Radar alerts you to insights in what's happening with payments on a project, good and bad, so you can make decisions about what steps you want to take to get paid. Just another one of the many ways that we're making getting paid the easiest part of your job. And last but not least, I do want to remind you about our free payment profiles that we talked about earlier. I would definitely encourage you to take advantage of this resource. It's free. Try it. They allow you to view a contractor's payment history and see how reliably they pay their subs and suppliers. It's easier to get paid if you work with people who have a good history of paying on time, right? So you can use these profiles to help decide who you're going to work with next, and also get an idea of what these contractors require in terms of waivers, pay applications, and their other documents for their entire payment process. Now, it's about time to jump into the Q&A. So if you have a question and you haven't asked it, throw it in the Q&A box. But in the meantime, I'm going to dive right into it. So my colleague, Caroline, she's going to jump in and help me out with these. So without further ado, Caroline.
Hey, John, thank you so much. Really appreciate you covering everything in such full detail. And we have a couple of questions here. First, actually two from Liz. Thank you for asking these great questions. What is critical on a job sheet to be able to send prelims?
What is critical on a job sheet to send prelims?
Yeah, sorry.
You need to get as much information as possible. Like, how much is the job going to be? What are you actually providing? Who is your customer? Who is your customer's customer? Like, when you're starting is literally everything that you can think of that could impact your ability to get paid. You want to have that up front to be able to send your prelim.
Great, thank you. And then another question also from Liz. Is there any value with sending a lien waiver after being paid, monthly, over the course of the job, when we are not asked for one?
Value sending a lien waiver after you've been paid monthly over the course of a job. If you've been paid and the waiver is saying that it's that much that you've been paid, send the waiver. Like, if they're telling you to sign and send the waiver before paying you, that is where I would draw the line. Only do it after you've gotten that check.
Great, thank you. Sheila, sorry I came in late. Where do you go for this information? More specifically, for the payment profile information. And I can actually answer this one. John, you might be able to chime in. I just wanted to let you know that we're going to be sending an email to you guys after this with a link to the payment profiles. But if you want to elaborate, John, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a free tool on our website. You can just type in a company name and find it. Now, it is a growing product. That's something I want to make sure that you know. If you search for somebody and it doesn't show up, ask for them. We're the largest comprehensive database of construction payments in the United States. It's there. Maybe we just might have to make a profile for them and bring that data to you.
Perfect. Thank you. Will there be a recording of this to share with my colleagues? Another one I can answer. Yes. Also, we'll be sending it out tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. I would absolutely say, keep this in your back pocket. This is how companies get paid on time. This is exactly what I work with contractors all over the country, day in and day out, to help implement. And if you really want to, see what can be done, talk to us. We can help you out.
Cool. Sheila wanted to follow up about the payment profiles. So when I log into LevelSet, I can just pull up their name.
Yeah, you go into your risks or your job radar tab, or on our website itself, just search the contractor name, and it actually brings up like a Yelp-like review of not only their objective payment ability, but also subjective reviews of those that worked with them. So you can see if they might be good to pay, but awful to work with, or vice versa. Very insightful information.
Yeah, or you can, I was going to save it for the email follow-up, but happy to share it now. It's just levelset.com/contractors. And you go in, you just type in your contractor name and search. So it's really easy, and love free stuff, obviously. So
Yeah.
great. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. Raina asked, can any industry put a lien on a property they're working with? I don't think that, I mean, I can't personally speak to other industries, John.
Generally speaking, liens are reserved for the construction industry. Now, what dictates that is if it was a permanent improvement upon a physical, real property. So if you're contracted to do software development, unfortunately, that's outside the realm. But if you're a contractor that installed some drywall and didn't get paid for it, chances are you probably are in the clear.
Okay, thank you. Chrissy is asking, this is a good one. If customers require the waiver to process payment, how would you handle? So I guess they require the waiver before processing your payment. What would you do?
Fun. So remember those two different types of waivers that we talked about, unconditional and conditional. The conditional is really, it's up to you. We always say, don't do it unless they actually sent you the payment. But if it is a conditional waiver that you sign, you are essentially saying that you waive your right to file a lien only on the condition that you are paid for the amount listed within that waiver. So if you really want to, if it's the only means to get paid, okay, just be very wary of what type of waiver it is.
So what waiver would you not want to sign an unconditional waiver?
Unconditional waivers, I almost always see as a scary document, because it's essentially saying, no matter what, if we get paid for this amount or not, we are waiving our right to file a lien, which if you're working with the GC and it's that final payment, a lot of times it might be an unconditional waiver for final payment. If that's the case, you want to get that checked before you sign that.
Yeah. So Chrissy, to answer your question, if that's the case, don't sign the unconditional waiver. Make sure it's conditional.
Yeah. And because it is very unfortunate when I've spoken with people that have signed those and haven't gotten paid, and then they're not getting any communication from the GC. Go and get their cousin Vinny to put on a ski mask and get a baseball bat to stand outside their office. It doesn't work very well that way.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. Yes, it can be tricky with either type of waiver. It certainly can be. And, but hopefully this helps you remain a little bit more aware of what to sign and what not to sign. So I'm happy to chat offline if you want to dive more into it, but this is thank you that's a great question. Liz has another question about waivers. An example, a waiver when not asked for one equals issue a waiver for what has been paid the previous month. Each month that shows our contracted value paid to. I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm sorry. But another question real quick, Liz, if you wanted to clarify that, go ahead. A question about job radar. What's the good of finding out about payment problems on our job after they're already happening? What is LevelSet or anyone going to do to get me paid if the GC is defaulting for other contractors?
Well, in the end of the day, who is responsible for ensuring that you get paid for the work that you did is the property owner. So if the GC defaults, then that's just the track that money goes through. In the end, property owner has to pay you. So job radar, what it does is alert you to those risks. Like if that GC was going belly up, we know, so you can take action before it happens and stay in front of it so you can get paid on time.
Thank you. And thank you. Sorry, Liz, I misunderstood your question before. But thank you for clarifying it. Wanted to know if there is value in sending waivers in that example, if you're not asked for a waiver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Paper
absolutely
trails,
is.
receipts, yeah.
Yeah. It's construction isn't necessarily like getting paid in construction isn't necessarily about the quality of your work. It's about the quality of your paperwork. The more paperwork you have involved, which is the least fun side of it, means that you get paid more fairly because they treat you more professional if they have that paperwork there.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, that is all the questions we have. So John, if you want to wrap up, go for
Yeah.
it. Thanks, guys.
This has been really, really fun. I've been looking forward to this all week. And thank you, everybody, for attending today's webinar. Now, if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me. My direct line is 504-285-2240. My email is john.burns at levelset.com. Give me a call, shoot me an email. And as I mentioned before, you're going to receive a recording of this webinar and inside of an email tomorrow, right? Right, Caroline? It's going to be going out tomorrow. Okay, sweet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I also wanted to say that today's presentation was simply just like a high level overview of everything and how software can let you create a streamlined process for managing all of these payment paperwork processes. It's all fun. But if you'd like to get a consultation and see what it would look like to use LevelSet in your business with your unique needs, happy to provide a customized demonstration. Visit the website and feel free to reach out. Thanks again, everybody.